a Turkish poet said, history repeats. There's a saying common, history repeats. And he said, as a reaction to this, if it was read and it was, learned, would it repeat? Of course, it wouldn't repeat. But what I noticed, though they're very young, school kids, but I saw great interest in their faces. They come to me, approach me, and ask me very good questions. They look clever kids. I can read in their faces. I'm sure they will be in government posts later. So always remember this. I think this will be a mark in their brains to remember all the time. Because first things learned, forgotten last, we say in Turkey. So they're very young, so I'm sure they will remember all the detail.
It's really valuable for us because we actually get to see everything firsthand and not just through a picture from a textbook. We've been visiting a lot of places from the Neck, Lone Pine, and the Shrapnel. Well, we visited Shrapnel's Valley 2 days ago. Same with the Pluggers Plateau. We visited Shelley Green yesterday, and I think that's very emotional because most of us cried. We were very taken aback the amount of emotions that's in it, because the feeling is very heavy once you enter the place, knowing that that is where the place where our soldiers fought.
Coming to Gallipoli is a great opportunity to learn about the Australian involvement in the war and that perspective, but they also get a chance to learn about the war from different perspectives, such as the French. So coming to the French cemetery is a good chance for the students to recognise other nations were involved and suffered similar losses, and that these people would be grieving and commemorating much the same as we are. So this trip is invaluable for the students as they get to experience history where it took place and it comes to life. So they read about it in their textbooks, and then they come here and they get to see the battlefields where these soldiers fought, as well as the places where they are laid to rest and commemorated. As a teacher, this trip is also invaluable to me because I also get to see where the events took place, and it gives me skills that I can take back into the classroom. And it also helps me to understand that names and dates are important, but it's the story of the people that is most important, and the kids really connect with that.
I had 3 family members that came and fought at Gallipoli, 2 on my mother's side and 1 on my father's side. The 2 on my mother's side were both brothers, and they're Indigenous, and one of them was killed and buried at sea after he was injured at Lone Pine. The other brother made it home and he lost a leg. The one on my father's side made it back. It's really emotional just thinking about what they would have had to go through just to survive here, and just knowing that one of them didn't make it back home and he's still here somewhere. It's really emotional.
I think it means a lot to me as an Australian who comes from another country, and just knowing about how many graves a certain places made us realize that war actually is not a good idea. And I am lucky because in Philippines there's a war going on at the moment, and it just makes me realize how lucky I am to be here. And I think I have made a real long life friendships here because we get grouped with other people with the same connections with us, and we have opportunities where we can talk to each other.
On my dad's side, he's English, and they have a lot of military history. My grandfather was part of the communications team, and he, when he was younger, and then his father before him, Captain John Stevens, was awarded an OBE for efforts in Burma, and so it's pretty special to be here. Yeah, it's been really good seeing the different perspectives of everyone. So we've seen the New Zealand side, the Australian side, and the British side, and it's just been really interesting just seeing how they all fought to claim Gallipoli.
2 of my family members served for New Zealand, one in the Otago Infantry Regiment and the other in a convalescent hospital. none of my family was ever able to meet these people, but from the story we can piece together, they were very brave. So it feels good to be respecting the New Zealand side of the Australian and New Zealand Army Corps. Reading from the book, you see the numbers, but you don't understand that all of those people were lives. It's not just numbers; they were real people.
My great-great-grandfather landed in the Gallipoli campaign on the very first day, on the 25th of April. Herbert William Baker, he was in the 3rd Field Ambulance C Squadron, and he fought alongside John Simpson and his donkey. It's very special to be here where he fought and see what he had to deal with during the campaign. The tour has been really amazing so far. It's been really special to go visit all the grave sites of all the soldiers that lost their lives for their nations and to commemorate what they did for us. This trip is just once in a lifetime, and I think anyone who is on it will be remembering this for the rest of their lives, and I think it will help the ANZAC legacy.
Really connect with the ANZACs and the actual people that fought here. This trip is really important for that. It helps us connect, and it does help us actually feel and experience something that will help us. No, I've had such a great and exciting time so far, and the people are absolutely brilliant. It's such a diverse group that all have one thing in common, which is a real interest in the ANZAC legend and what happened at Gallipoli, and the culture here is great, and everyone wants to experience the culture. So we all go out and we meet kids and we chat to the kids and we chat to people of our age group from Turkey, and we talk to them about what school's like. We give them koalas, which just makes their day. The other day I met some girls and they were 14 and we traded coins. I gave them an Australian coin which they absolutely loved, and it's just great to meet the new people.
We're at the Blue Mosque in Istanbul, and it's quite a beautiful place here, very cultural, very impressive paintings on the walls. Istanbul is a very busy city compared to home, quite intense, the traffic, and there's a lot of people around, and the cultural experience is really quite amazing with all the mosques and food we've been eating lately. The tour so far has been really great. I've made quite a lot of friends. As the tour goes on, we will get pretty close, and I think we'll form some friendships that will probably carry through our whole lives.
If you're learning a particular history about a certain place, to go there, to experience it in a physical way, it really does make that experience much more real and so much more vivid than just reading it from a book. Book and theory, book work and theory is great, but having them both together, I think it just really, meshes the whole historical idea for you in your mind, that the students have come to really experience the whole peninsula and the whole campaign, and the way that they've touched base with the whole conflict emotionally themselves. And to see that, I think that's really been a special thing for a teacher to observe.
The tour is really good. I really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the mosques and a lot of the different culture that Istanbul has. So the food that we have tried while we're over here has been really good, and I've really enjoyed just getting to know everyone better from the March briefing. So it's been a really good experience to come over here and just learn so much about another culture.
It's about 1 o'clock in the morning now, and we're down on the Gallipoli Peninsula. We're just waiting to go into the Anzac Day Dawn Service commemorative site, and there's a lot of people around. Some people are trying to get some sleep. I think it's going to be quite an amazing experience. I don't really know how to describe it, but I think it's going to be very moving, and everyone's going to be, their hearts going to be touched, and I think people are going to get quite emotional. It's such a great opportunity after learning so much about the ANZACs and all of the history behind it. To actually be here is just an experience that I'll never forget.
So we've been preparing for these services for so long. The dawn service was simply spectacular, just to be there where they landed 100 years ago. It was very emotional and life-changing experience. The Lone Pine service was lovely. We had some very inspirational presentations. It was just such an honour to be there, surrounded by such prominent people such as the Prime Minister and Prince Harry. Just incredible. This tour has hands down been the most incredible experience of my life, and I've made friends and memories that I'll never forget. I think I'll come home with a new appreciation of what the ANZACs really did, and just being out here walking in the cold has given me a new appreciation for what they did for us 100 years ago.